with your mother.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's me, RDV. I probably should move my microphone towards me. It's kind of quiet. Uh, as you can see, I got Eric back again on Thursday night. It's crazy. It's just like Zach doesn't want to show up on time. He claims he's got Bible study or church or something. I don't know. But the rumor has he's going to be here tomorrow for the retrospective. I believe that when I see that too.
Yep.
Right. So, all right. So, if you guys don't know what we do on this channel, we review comic books. We also review TV shows, but especially on Thursday nights, we are going to be talking about the books that I got this week, and also what maybe Eric has brought to the table. And when Zach shows up, he'll show off his books. I usually just count down the books that I got from my least favorite to favorite. And what we like to do is this is a follow up basically to our Tuesday night streams called the Top 5, where basically we take 5 books we think are going to be our favorite books of the week.
And how many books do you have this week?
I have 11.
11?
Yes, because everything's next week. Again.
That's a light number for you.
It is. I'm depressed. But not that depressed.
I usually need 5 or 6 weeks to get to 11, but...
Yeah. That's because you're old and you gotta... It takes a while to get going. I don't know.
No, it's because I'm old and I've read it all before.
The great thing about being old is reading it all before is that you forget what you read. You just go back and read it.
I don't remember.
See? So you remember reading it all. You could be in your third time and you don't even know. All right, so...
Thank you, Zach.
You're welcome.
So, dazzle us with numero 11, since I don't know what 11 is in Spanish.
11 is double uno. Dos uno. Yeah. Hold on. Let me full screen myself here. All right. So I might as well pick up the last one. It's the last issue. The whole goal of this, basically, she's basically trying to achieve absolution. Basically, if she gets 100% approval rating from the people watching her, and before the timer runs out, the bomb deactivates, and she's able to go free when her basically chance of freedom. And I'm just gonna spoil the hell out of this book, Brain, because I don't think you're gonna read it. And I don't think
you got that right.
I don't think anybody should read this unless you. I guess you like. What's this? Peter Milligan.
Let me just ask you a question before you spoil it. If you had gotten 12 books this week, would that have been a lock for number 12?
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
It's just not that great. Especially the ending. The ending was trash. But then again, some people are thinking, well, she made the morally right decision. Still. 5 issues basically, yeah, her goal is basically to get this bomb on her head and just be free. This issue, she basically they reveal that basically, despite having the bomb in their heads, that these people are able to sleep. They're allowed the rules. They're allowed to allow them to sleep, and it pauses the game, the absolution timer. And she starts basically having a dream. Basically, all the people that she killed prior to her the absolution game. And basically, she learns that she wakes up. She was crying that she now has a conscience. She never had a conscience before when she was a kid, because now they something with her mind. Now she actually feels guilty for stuff. So you know where this is going.
But she is still a lesbian, so she's perfect.
Yeah, well, not anymore. Because they decided to basically kill her off at the end of this. She achieved 99.9. Yeah, she's about to get her 100%, but she chose not to kill the guy. At the end, she said, "I'm done playing this game for you sick murderers and stuff." And she kind of she drops her gun, walks away, and then the timer runs out, and that's all that's all you see. I was just like, "Wow, you showed them right."
And that was numero 11. See, I read the chat.
All right. Thank you, Evil Black Cat. Did not know you spoke Spanish. A Spanish Evil Black Cat. So that was number 11.
Well, you know he's bilingual.
What? Oh, lingual, yeah, yeah. Number 10. Final issue of this too. Kind of leaves it an open cliffhanger. Good art in this. Obviously this is not the art in the interior, but I still like this artist. So this is that Sudam Young. I forget what his last name is, but there's a lot of cool stuff art. I love how he captures the actual characters. It's basically Herbert Wesker and Ash and his I guess she's a secret woman. She's a secret sect order of the people who are supposed to help the chosen one, and they're in the future where the reanimator is basically mastered his reanimation and stuff where he cannot die. He's got a hold of Necronomicon. They ended up using the book and basically not destroying the world, but basically leaving him the guy to his demise after luring in the Deadites. They go to the portal. The reanimator guy, Herbert Wesker, ends up back in the 1940s, and then Ash and his beautiful assistant, they're back in medieval times. And there's an end question mark. Even though this is 5 of 5. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them continue the story. Hopefully they do, because it's been up and down. It hasn't been awful, but it's been entertaining for the least.
So Ash has a comic book, but not a channel.
Yes.
That seems strange.
So, like I said, it wasn't bad, but like I said, it's one of those books. It's like it's there, I read it, and then it's like you instantly forget it later on. But there's some comedy in this too. So it's the earlier Army of Darkness books, the Dynamite were better, but it just seems like everything's getting worse and worse. Maybe this is because the talent's leaving, and the new talent just doesn't know how to write anything. That could be it. I don't know. I know that's definitely from Marvel and DC. All right, number 9. This is all right. Like I said, this is explain to me who the Wand is. I guess WAND. They are a secret shield. Basically, there is a section of shield or similar to it that basically use magic. And they have this prison basically, basically they use it whenever a magic user would die, they're afraid of the body still being used for ill gain, so they kept them in like cryogenic freezers in a prison. And it's called back to basically explaining who they are, and then and it basically gives you, all right, so now we know who the Blasphemy sect is that's going around and just basically trying to take over. And yeah, so basically, it is basically was a backstory fill-in. And just focus on the one girl, the leader of the sect, who obviously is black. I mean, and a young girl too. So I'm like, really?
Is she smarter than Reed Richards?
Well, Reed wasn't in this. We couldn't tell, but she was made a fool though by a white Doctor Strange. So there's hope.
Misogyny.
Yes.
I can't sign off on that book.
I guess so. It's like I said, I'm gonna go back and read some more early Doctor Strange, but I'm just getting this to show the Dalton. This is what they did to Clea. Like I said, it's not offensively bad as Marvel could do it. I guess, but it's still.
I can't tell because it's hard to see. Is she pregnant there or something?
No, she's doing the thing that he does, the sit down where he does with the hand gestures.
Oh, okay, because it looked like she's like. Now I can see that she.
Yeah, we get to see use a flashback Doctor Strange when he's alive. He's able to use his third eye.
Well, as long as you understand that she is better at the mystic arts than he ever was.
Yeah, well, it's always been the case. That's why she blanked Benjamin Franklin on top of that.
Well, I read an issue from the 74 run, and she basically tried to quit because she couldn't measure up. And he had to convince her to stay.
Yeah.
It just seemed like far more realistic than anything they do now, but that's just me.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is dead. Apparently, he's serving a death until he retrieves all of the escaped souls. He can't return back to being life. and she's not, and not even though they know that she knows that Doctor Strange was his Harvest character, they can't touch because if whatever reason sorcerer of life and death touch, it will cause like a major like an end of days thing. Even if they bump into each other, so which I hope that happens. I mean, at least be something exciting then. But all right, number 8.
Numero ocho. Couldn't you have worked that to where that was number 7?
I know.
No symmetry in this stream.
No, we don't have any Sims in this stream. Anyway, so this is issue number 4 of James Bond 007. Now I gotta say this book would be higher on my list, but it suffers because of the art. The interior art is just atrocious. This is a variant cover, but I'll give this. The story's good. I'm liking the James Bond thing, where he's working the double agent stuff. But right now it's just the point where I'm like, okay, what is the art ever going to get any better? Because even though they say the story is the most important thing, if your art brings it down, I mean, it's not Rossmo art, level art, no, or that Tony guy that you guys were talking about, the fossils.
Talarico.
But I'll actually open up so you can look at some of the art. I don't know.
Well, the problem, okay, to your point, unless you're going to stand there at the stand and read the book, the art is what gets your attention, especially if you don't know who the creators are. And yeah, like I said, I'm sorry, that's not, there's no,
that's Erica Henderson art.
There's no depth. There's no, I don't know the art terms, but I'll just put it this way. That's shit.
Well, yeah.
And that's unfortunately, horrible. Way too many comics are getting away with that. And
yep.
If a certain book that I suspect will be on Zach's list, if it pops up on yours, I'll bring it up at that point. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at that, and I'm not gonna pay $4 or $5 for that art.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't care if it's written by Shakespeare.
You would. If it was written by Shakespeare, you're like, I gotta get this.
No, probably wouldn't.
Shakespeare writing Batman.
To be.
Or not to be the Batman. Overall, for those, but this is funny. For those of you who hate misogyny, basically in the very beginning here, Bond he sees this girl coming out. And he basically poses as someone else, seduces her, and sleeps with her so he can get her big copy of her clearance card. Because he needs to sneak into a server room. So he basically pulls a con on one of his own people and just disposes of her. Is this what he looks like in, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, right now he's being basically forced to play for work for the bad guys at the moment. But like overall, I said the art is not that great, but the story is holding it for me. That's one reason I'm getting it, because I'm enjoying the story. And I gotta chuckle at that, the fact that Bond was able to they sleep with a girl and just chuck her aside, and there's no outrage from anybody on the left. If there is, I haven't seen it online yet. All right, number 7. This is a fun book. I said this was basically with her, the younger self. They're forced to be hunted down by these creatures and just trying to figure out working together with the younger self. They're going to see find a wizard towards the end of the next issue, and just basically just trying to survive. There's people being decapitated, arms flying. Basically, what we kind of want is it's actually what's been missing from the Brad Sonia books. Merker Andolph, or whatever, Andolfo, whatever her name is, basically neutered the character again. So that's why I stopped getting the ongoing. I don't even know if that's even ongoing anymore. Unbreakable is right now, and Immortal are the only two that I've actually seen on the shelves coming out. So, and I got the David Finch cover because, for whatever reason, some of the covers have been kind of like just kind of average. And it's kind of like this because Finch did the covers for the 2005 run, didn't he?
I'm sure he did some, maybe.
Yeah. But that's what I'm used for Sonya. And same with Marvel, too. But so it's a fun book. And so I recommend people pick that up if you're not reading it. It's not that good. When I say it's so good, you'll know.
And I tell you something about the Marvel comic that he read. It's one of the best he's ever read. And I asked him what it was. Instead, he teases a stream that there's no way in hell I'll be up awake still to watch. So I guess I'm not going to find out.
Who?
I don't know. It says going to be talking about tonight on Skip Stream.
Oh, they're still talking about Hickman around, I thought.
Well, he just said I just finished reading one of the best Marvel comic stories I've ever read.
Maybe I think you read a different one. I don't know. They talk for 4 hours on that stream on Twitch.
Well, I said, but I won't be awake at that point. So I guess on a need to know basis, and I don't need to know.
So my number 6 is a book. I brought this on the whim. This is the second issue, part 2. You probably know what I'm talking about, Breen, because it just randomly popped a couple months ago up in here, and it's not a book that you usually see on the shelf. Overall, just straight up battle. The whole entire thing. I mean, I've only read the previous issue, and I haven't read the issues that tie into the Lady Death stuff. But, dude, I said, apart from the cheesecake, you said it was actually a really fun book. Fast paced. Pretty much every character that Brian Pulido has was involved in this, except for the ones he sold off. But like I said, this is for mature readers. Yes, there's some topless nudity, and so if you're squeamish about that, do not pick it up. Do not buy it for your kids. But overall, fun book. And I love though the narration, because in the little narrator box, you'll have it's basically Hell Witch versus Lady Death. So it starts off with Hell Witch is like her box, her narration box of what's going on, her inner monologue, and then you'll see on the next panel, you'll see Lady Death's inner monologue. Sometimes they're the same as far as it's like I hate this bitch. It's the same thing, but other times, like I said, it was kind of neat to see that, because normally you get a narrator. It's just they're describing what's going on. So it's kind of cool to have an interpersonal narrator. But
yeah, I'm not even sure we got the second issue of that.
Yeah. But yep. So fun book. Like I said, it's going to continue into another series, but I don't know if it's going to come to the shops or not, because I don't think I've ever seen a lot of the newer League discs, because there were some from actually March or April. There was something came out this year. So maybe I just didn't see them. That's all. But yeah. Like I said, I was surprised to see these two, because usually this would be like a Xenoscope thing, but he's doing his own. It's through Coffin Comics. Yeah. So fun book. All right, top 5. All right, number 5 is a book that I just happened to come across on the shelf. I had to go back and read the first issue, which came out a while ago, and yeah, it's just did not know what to expect. I mean, I didn't know if it was gonna be a zombie book or whatever. It's Dark Horse Dead Mall. It's by Adam Cesare. Not sure what else he's written. So basically, it's the first issue. A bunch of kids basically enter a mall, and they're underage kids. It's an abandoned mall. They're gonna sit there and they're gonna drink. They got a case of I think it was Coolers, actually. I think they had. I'm not sure, whatever. And as you see them walking through, you look in the background, you see little shadows, watching, looking around. So I'm like, is this gonna be like a zombie thing, or is this gonna be like a haunted house? Overall, and basically the narration is basically in this book is that the thing that's stalking them is doing the narration, which is kind of cool. Because not only they you get the kids' dialogue too, goofing off, and then like I said, it's like they're hallucinating, but it's one of those mind bending things. I don't know if they're seeing is real or what we're seeing is real. There's another creature going around that's trying to help them. Just straight up horror and kind of basically a mind game. So yeah, it's only for it's just $3.99 for this. So all right, my next book, number 4, is a book that I read. I wasn't gonna pick it up really because I don't really do annuals, but it's a Detective Comics annual. And I was hoping Skip would be here because Skip was a real fan of this, and this goes back to 1776 Gotham. Ties in, and you get basically it's got the huge I guess you say Gotham by Gaslights vibes to that. And there's a former ancestor, I guess, or the same name of Cobblepot. We got Scarecrow, kind of like that character. There's Ichabod Crane. There's even a James Gordon kind of character. There's a character.
Was the Court of Owls already there?
Then that's the thing, though, because if this is before the Court of Owls, or is the Court of Owls even still canon? Because Court of Owls was New 52, my belief, because I don't think they were before that. The Night of Owls, so that's my only problem with this. If the Court of Owls is considered canon, then do these people basically allow the people, the family, the Orms, that they allow the Court of Owls to basically exist?
I said, hey, JR, give me some pointers. I could use $1 million right about now. I don't know what a man thought is, but I'm ready if I can make $1 million.
Yeah. So overall, if you some spoilers, I mean, if you haven't read this, I'm gonna be telling you right now. It basically goes back to the Batman of this time and it's called back to basically those, remember when Bruce was traveling through time because the dark side displaced him. There's this guy with long black hair. I forgot what his name is, but he basically, this kid, his parents were found dead, and he is his own survivor. And he basically takes a kid. He's going to leave town because he said he basically fought in the war. He said, "I'm done with this. I don't want to bring these kids in enough." The person driving the wagon is actually Bruce Wayne. He basically tells him, "You need to stay and fight, for this town, protect him." Basically sets him up as being the first Batman. And as Eva Black pointed out, this isn't the first time where Bruce has met the first Batman. I think it was actually way back in Detective Comics.
See, having been Batmans throughout the ages just absolutely
negates
his origin story.
I know.
It makes it pointless.
Yeah.
And as far as, don't hate on the Court of Owls. Remember in Detective Comics 1000 where Batman met all those other detectives that were better than him? Like Detective Chimp, and there was like some shaved-headed black woman, blah, blah, blah. I thought, this is an insult. But then I remembered, this is a guy that didn't know there was a Court of Owls operating in his city for how many years?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So, but like I said, nothing's really canon anymore. Everything gets changed, retconned all the time. He's not the first person to do this, and he won't be the last. But overall, the art in here is decent. I'm enjoying the art.
Now, is this the detective still?
Yeah.
All kidding aside, my biggest gripe with Detective Comics and annuals in general?
Because they keep advertising Tom King in there?
Well, no, that would be one, yes. But it's a pretty picture. Yeah. You can just forget it's Tom King. I hate that they call them 2022 annual number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of just accumulating the numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I mean, I know why they think it's a good idea, but
because people don't know how to count and look at the dates.
Well, honestly, they do it because annuals have a tendency to not sell because they have a tendency to not be special.
Well, my thing is that it depends what the annual is. They had an annual for Batman. It was earlier this year, and it was supposed to be Ghostmaker Inc. I was like, why the hell would I want to read that?
Yeah, so they made it figure at number 1, you have a better shot of picking it up.
that's the character right there. That's the guy basically becomes the first Batman. He's basically defending the witch. Basically, as a healer, who we find out is basically like a Poison Ivy kind of character. You know, and then we even have a Two-Face.
Of course.
Overall, if you ignore the continuity, it's a decent read. I treat it as Elseworlds. That's what I'm looking at right now.
There you go.
Because
now I'm on board.
Well, because you look at Batman and Detective, they have nothing in common right now. Both ongoing stories, they're not tied at all. Where before, with Mariko Tamaki tied it to basically to Josh Williamson run. You know, so it basically explains how they buried this thing beneath the church, which would later, which became Gotham Asylum. Still, really have no idea what it is. It's just something that's been that it's going to come play in the later.
Yeah, JR Annual. I always was a huge fan of annuals because Marvel brought him back in '76 when I first started reading comics.
Yeah,
and I've loved him ever since.
Yeah, I mean, it is
a lot of good annuals in '76, by the way.
Yeah, and you're seeing him there. It's supposed to be like the driver talking to him.
Yeah. How dare you stay on topic while I'm rambling?
I try to. Then let's see the lady becoming Poison Ivy. And then they see this wagon coming back, and then we see this cool scene right here. This is like I said. So I do kind of like the art in this. The story at first, I wasn't a fan of it, but
I'm almost afraid to ask, but how much are annuals at DC?
This is $5.99.
Really?
Yeah.
So the annual is the same price as a lot of their monthlies?
Yes.
Well, I guess that part at least is a win. I mean,
yeah. So overall, like I said, I'm kind of liking it's a fun story. Going through it, so I recommend reading through it. Took me a little while because it's a double size, it's annual. But I mean, it ends with a smile. There you go. I said it was a fun book. I said, but the biggest problem is like Court of Owls. Weren't they there first? It's like, hello, Ram V, but then I thought more about it. It's like, wait, Ram V hasn't been doing anything in continuity at all. It's just Bruce basically by himself. The only thing that's tied to anything is that in the Detective Comics that James Gordon is no longer commissioner. Other than that, nothing is tied to anything. And sadly, that sucks because your two books, Batman and Detective, should always be intertwining. Just like you should have Action Comics and Superman, always intertwining. Whether they have anything to do with the others outside books.
I need you to go down to the harbor and look way out there. See that ship in the distance? That's that ship sailing.
That's all the fucks going away. That's all the fucks I had. They're gone. Yeah, so
that was numero cuatro.
Yeah, so that was my number 4. Number 3.
Numero tres.
Fun book. Overall, it's a plot reveal. I'm not going to spoil this because I know Ash really wants to read this if he's not. But the kid's father's back is in the picture. He's been back since the previous issue, and there's just more going on with his character. He's learning how to advance his powers. And the main girl, basically the Viking kind of like Asgardian girl, is helping him. Basically, he can micromanage activating his power, so he can at least go from 10 minutes to 20 minutes.
That was going to be my question. Is it? Can he run it? Look, can he go longer than 10 minutes now?
Yeah,
because that's probably important to the chick.
They're underage. They're minors. But yeah,
well, they both are.
But they both. The thing though is that there's basically the girl on the main cover is the girl basically who was a pauper girl in the first series, who wanted nothing to do with him. That was a dweeb. But then she discovered that he has powers. He saved her. Then she wanted to date him, but now she doesn't want to date him. But now there's a new girl. Now she's interested in him again. It's basically like it's high school. She wants him and she's jealous because now he's with his other girl.
dames. Am I right?
right? Yes, so it's just kind of it's been a fun story. I just wish these weren't 4 issues. I wish these were just completely just go ongoing. Carrie Andrews. I don't know what else he's doing. Just focus on these. Get these out. But that's why it's my number 3. It's a fun book. Every issue just makes me laugh out loud. Now, I was the next book was my number 1 until I read the book that came after it. That's my number 1. So at first, this book was my number 1, and that was like, oh my gosh, if this was my number 1 and the other book sucked, your head would pop. But my number 2 is Exterminators. This is just straight up fun. They don't. It's just like Leah Williams does not care at all, and she's not pandering to the woke leftness and all that stuff. She just wants to have fun. Girls have fun. It's like your 80s kind of like, not for comic book, but your 80s kind of pop, bubblegum pop books. With them basically protect themselves, fighting vampires, and then being confronted by the teachers and all, like, basically Xavier, and telling him all this stuff they don't want to hear because it's kind of like too much, because Xavier is pretty much a prude or adult, I guess you'd say. Like I said, I had a lot of fun reading this. I know you're not a fan of this stuff, but overall, it's like I said. I mean, if they didn't color Wolverine, it'd probably make the book a lot better. But Boom Boom and Jubilee arguing, and Boom Boom's upset because Jubilee burned her boob when she was throwing a firework. He's like, "Well, I'm sorry. They're so freaking huge. How am I supposed to miss them?" So they're just it's just stupid humor.
Wait a minute. Somebody has huge boobs in a Marvel comic?
Yes. Like I said, this is just all out. Just if this, like I said, this just feels like I'm reading an older book. Before everyone just became like super like, oh, we can't have women being women. No. But it's number 2. I thought Ash, or no, not Ash, but Skip would be here. This is kind of depressing. Skip is he's not here. And you know who's also here? Zach.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number 1 book is a book that I said originally I read it last because I want to give the other books a shot before I just said screw other books. So, and I got the incentive cover by Jerry Ordway.
Oh wow! We didn't get that. Or I would have gotten that cover.
Yeah. This is the 1 in 25. So I pay a little more for it though. Not too much for me because I get that discount. Yep. Jerry Ordway and John Cleese. And overall, it's introduction of Helena Wayne. Well, not introduction, but plus to take 8 years past after Bruce was murdered. She's basically against her mother's wish. She's putting on the cowl. Like I said, this just goes back to basically like Jeff Johns, his writing stuff. It just feels like it's all connected. Like he never stopped writing. Like if you ignore all the crap that's going around, just read Jeff Johns stuff. It all almost seems to connect. So because Dr. Fate's missing, Helena created a new JSA with and Grundy's on it, along with this new character, the Red Lantern. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that part I wasn't completely sold on because we're being told that the Red Lantern goes back to 1951. And I'm not a big fan of retconning people to have supposedly been there all along. We just didn't know it and type of stuff. But yeah, I said I trust Jeff Johns more than I trust maybe Bendis when he did that with Sentry. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, because even Power Girls is like, the whole issue, she doesn't want the villains on the team at all because they're villains and it's a disgrace to everyone who's basically sat at that table before. And I just love like gentleman goes in here. We get to see. I mean, I don't know if I should spoil this because Breen, if you have read this, you should read it.
How else would I have known about the Red Lantern? I read
I
it.
just told you about Red Lantern.
No, I said about going back to
Yeah.
1951. I
Well, you
don't know that if I haven't read it.
So you know what happens then? Because I mean, I'm obviously they find the new Doctor. I see Doctor Strange, but what's her name? Dr. Fate. He's found entombed in a mummy thing. So something's fishy on there. Like this kid was just been missing for a week, and they find him. He's wrapped up, and I love what's his name says. He's like a Harley Quinn. He's like, I didn't do it, and she's like, yeah, I know you didn't do it. There's no way you could have done it. You know. And then basically it's between Helena and Karen are fighting again because she doesn't want him there. She's like, and then huge spoiler. So I'm gonna put the little ticker on it because if you ever read this, holy crap. She gets shot, and the back with the kryptonite bullet. It's revealed that they see the guy basically accelerated time, so she's basically had kryptonite in her body for about a week now. For weeks. Yeah. Your poisoning power, Geralt, to kryptonite for weeks now instead of seconds. Making her vulnerable to something. It's like that. So basically, as I said, Gentleman Ghost he's not gonna fight and he's brought back to life. He's like, "Well, my time." He's like, "What? I'm alive." This is just insane, and he gets shot. Everyone just basically gets murdered. That's I did not expect this. I was like, dude, what the heck? Huntress, gets aged up. It's all time traveler. Her mother shows up. She uses the snow globe. Basically, send the guy flying backwards. Like I said, the art is fun in this too. I'm enjoying the story with this too, Breen. But then they get to see this. This is cool. Basically, all different teams.
Yeah, that was an interesting little montage.
Yep. Yep. And then at the end, she's basically transported back to 1940. So,
yep.
Overall, fun story. Like I said, I've been reading the older JSA while reading this too. So it's just fun and cool to have something modern come out that's JSA related that I can read as well and not be offended by it.
I read that. I mean, I read it and I was kind of in the middle on it while I was reading it. When Power Girl starts lecturing, there are certain words that just make my eyes roll until they fall out of my sockets. Privilege is one of them.
No.
And that took me out of the story for a bit. But then I get to the end, I go, all right, I'm going to come back for issue 2. See what? I'm gonna keep up with the story at least for the time being.
And I got the embossed cover. I got this cheap.
I saw that one too. I almost went with that, but then I realized I remind myself that
it's like $10 almost, but I got it for cheaper.
They look cool, but then after you've read the book and you've bagged it and boarded it and filed it, it may never come out of the box again. So that's kind of what I tell myself.
I got it for whatever reason. I might flip it down later in
Yeah, I mean, if I had like a thing behind me that I like displayed like I used to, then it'd be different. But and there's something else that I saw an article from CBR yesterday. Top 10 reasons why DC is losing steam. One of them was that they brought Jeff Johns back, who nobody wants anymore. Nothing about Megan Fitzmartin being an absolute destroyer of a brand. Nothing about T. Franklin turning characters into lesbian sex
Oh.
workers in a
Oh, I
wheelchair
bet-
so
I
that
bet
she can
there's-
do more self-inserts.
I bet that the jackass who wrote that is celebrating that Stargirl's getting canceled.
Oh, I'm sure that I said, but Jeff Johns is it after colossal failures like Doomsday Clock and Three Jokers. And I realized, why the hell am I reading this?
I don't know. First of all, I like Three Jokers. I never read Doomsday Clock.
They weren't failures. I mean,
Yeah.
Doomsday Clock had some problems.
Yeah.
And
was like, here.
Three Jokers was probably the best book of the year. What was that last year or 2020, whatever year it came out?
Probably 2020, 21.
And
Yeah.
so I said, if you think that the problem with DC is Jeff Johns being there, holy crap! I mean, I'm guessing this person thinks Gary Whitta is groundbreaking.
And Vita walks on water.
Yeah.
So another book though, because you're telling me about our friend of the channel, Joe Corallo, is editing Born of Blood.
He's
Right, the
also
first
co-writing.
Co-writing too. I guess he's listed as editing. So
Well,
you're saying
it says, at least for the first two, if you look at it, it says written by, and I can't remember Drew's last name, but it just goes by the last name with Joe Corallo.
Dolan.
Dolan, yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, I was like, oh, it's like, his name's on there. So if he's co-writing it, that's cool. So this is the first issue. They sadly did not at the second issue, and you said you're gonna hook me up with that. But overall, I might as well just show it because.
Yeah, be careful.
Oh, I know. That's the thing with some of these N17 books. You gotta be careful what you show because YouTube does not like.
Yeah, but while you're looking at page, JR, to your point, about 4 or 5 years ago, when Tomasi was writing Superman, they did a 2-part story where they went on a family vacation. It was a great story in any era, and I said, I think you've been around for a long time too. In my almost 50 years of comics, it stands up with any of them. CBR gave those issues 3.5 out of 10, while they were giving 10 to Gabby Rivera. So
it starts off right away with her birth, and her mom dies. I was like, dang, I guess she's born in blood. She's got blood over. And they take he's like, here, my queen, here's a child, but it's not a son, it's a daughter. He's fuck. Because he wanted a son and his wife's dead. So she learns stuff. He's kind of bored with her. And she's learning all stuff. And then finally he takes her out, at nighttime. He's like, here, actually. And then he shoves her into basically a cell. And then she gets the shit kicked out of her because he wants to teach her how to fight. Yeah, and then some of these I gotta be careful because especially the next page, you can't show that one. Can I show this one? Yeah, I can show this one. Basically, training her for her real mission, the real family stuff. Overall, this is a Kickstarter book. I probably would have bought it. I mean, don't look, kids. It's vulgar. She's got him on a leg wrap between her crotch. They're just wrestling. And this takes place during the Romans at the time, right? Yeah. It's always great when you have heads on spikes. People being murdered. Hey, there he is.
What's up, everybody? Happy Movie Trailer Thursday. My God. All the movie trailers came out today.
So here's the end of the book where she finally takes over.
Wait, what book is this?
Well, if you've been here, Zach, you would have known.
I'm sorry. I was driving. I was trying to get here as fast as I could.
Yeah, next time wrap up the Bible study a little early so you come, revel in Venkman's debauchery.
I don't run the Bible study. I'm just a participant.
Oh, then you don't have to be there then, if you're not running it, right?
I choose to be there.
You should choose to be here more often.
I'm here a lot, sir. Anyway, though.
Maybe that's a problem, Eric. He's here too often.
I am here. Mine.
All right, so Yeah, we spoiled out some books. We talked about Detective the Annual #1. I saved the other book for you, which I don't know if you've got it or not, but it's I liked one of the stories out of it though.
Ash, I didn't say I drove safe. Let's just say I drove effectively. I know Vinkman's going to be surprised. I think most people will be, because my #1 book is probably not what everyone thinks it is. I haven't gotten to read my Detective Annual yet, though.
Oh,
You're gonna make Exterminators #1. I know you are. See, I'm right.
So
Good Lord.
All right, so Breen, do you have any books at all this week?
Oh, I'm gonna let Zach embarrass himself first.
I'm kind of glad I didn't miss Breen's picks. So, let me make sure I'm.
Good thing you missed it, because I spoiled the crap out of it.
Uh-oh. I'm already seeing piles forming on that again.
I know. I just cleaned it off. I know. Of course, my books from E's auction come in the day after I clean this off. So no. Starting right off though, I did get this in the mail last week. Cool. Gotham Noir. Skip turned me on to this.
Skip's turned you on? That's great.
From Brubaker and Phillips, Gotham Noir.
I don't think I ever read that.
I'm really looking forward to trying this, or reading this. But anyway, so here is, I can't grade this one because I haven't read it yet. This is the Detective Comics Annual.
Treat it as an Elseworlds when you read it. Think of it as Elseworlds.
I think of every other DC thing as Elseworlds. Ash, where did I find this? Skip sent me a link I think this was off of eBay. I think it was on eBay where I found this. I haven't seen it in a store. So it was, I think, $9, $10, something like that. Anyway, okay, moving along. I also have not read this one. I picked it up because the cover looked cool. I was reading this when it first came out, Strange Academy, and then it was just really, really boring. But the cover looked really cool. I didn't have a lot of books this week, so I thought, yeah, why not get the cover? That looks really neat. I don't see how it's an extreme 90s variant, but it's neat. It's got some pretty colors. All right. Anyway, getting to the books that I actually did read this week. First off, Unbreakable Red Sonja. This is the only cover they had. I was really disappointed. There was like no Dave Finch covers or anything. This was a better issue, I think, than the first one. I liked more. It had more adult Red Sonja talking and bonding, sort of, with kid Sonja, as I'm calling her.
Is that the Valencia variant?
Is it? Oh, I see what you did. I didn't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know if that's right or not.
I like Venkman's better, and that's the one that I wish I had.
I know you do. You prefer white.
Good thing you rushed home for that, huh?
I know. I'm so glad I rushed home. Okay, next. Kind of didn't hate this. It was kind of, maybe I hyped it too much in my head. But Superman Kal-El Returns. None of the stories were 100% bad. Even the Cena Grace one I liked at the beginning, and then towards the third act of it started to lose my interest.
Who were the third writer? There was
Wade, Cena Grace, Marv Wolfman, and I think Alex Segura is the last one.
Marv Wolfman was the best one.
Wolfman was the good one. That's the one with John and Lex.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. That was a good one. The one that Cena Grace wrote was really a Jimmy Olsen catching up with Superman. And it started out really cool, actually. I did like how it started with Jimmy. But, it kind of lost me in the third act, because then it goes to, Jimmy's been, taking pictures of all these world catastrophes. And I was like, okay, Jimmy, dial it back a little bit, bud. The Mark Waid one is the one where he meets Batman again. And that wasn't terrible. It really, I thought the villain choice was interesting. Mr. Nobody from the Doom Patrol. I was like, that's an interesting bad guy choice.
The fact that they hug, it was kind of weird. I admit that not being some people are saying, "Oh, look, Batman's gay now." I saw that was trending again on Twitter.
No, it's two best friends hugging it out. I do that with my guys that I haven't seen in forever. Like guys that stood in my wedding.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
Just
I
like a
didn't think
quick,
about-
just like a quick like hug. Yeah, it's almost like Community where they do the whole like the chest tap thing. I don't something like that. But anyway, I'm digressing. Yeah, the Wade one just felt like he was given a little preview of future World's Finest stories that are coming down the line, which I'm okay with. And then the Alex Segura one was probably the weakest one, is where Superman goes back to the Hall of Justice, and that's the one that Naomi shows up in. But it also has Wally, so it's not entirely bad. It's like a little mix of both. So yeah, not overall bad. I wish they'd given Joshua Williamson a story on this just to kind of whet people's appetites for when
Did
he starts writing Superman.
Did Superman say that, gee, Naomi, I wished you'd been on War World because you could have wrapped it up in one issue?
No, he did not say that.
He should have.
Uh,
I can't sign off on this book.
No, it's the Al Segura was just as shitty as his Crimson Sisters book he did.
Oh, is that who wrote?
Oh, was that Segura? Did he write
Yeah.
the Scarlet Sisters or
Yeah,
whatever it
that's
was?
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
that's
it
him.
was Scissor Sisters.
Scissor me, daddy.
Disgusting.
Acclaimed.
Yeah, you're right. I raced back home for this. Yeah. Next up, Blue Beetle, Graduation Day. Yes, I got the cover with the creeper face. The one that I really liked was an extra $1. This was actually pretty good though. I'm not gonna lie. This was pretty good. It's it starts out like Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he's rushing to get to his high school graduation. But overall, no, this was actually pretty good. You can tell he's grown up some. Jaime has like a little soul patch beard now, so he's not a teenager anymore. Yeah, what happens is his AI suit is picking up radio signals or satellite signals from the Reach, which is a threat to Earth. And of course, his AI suit reacts without Jaime necessarily wanting to. So it's him trying to figure out how to cope with that. Also, since he's graduating now, he's not going to college. And so his parents are like, well, if you're not going to go to college, you got to get a job. So they're sending him off to his aunt's to work in a diner. And then on top of all of that, he gets a surprise appearance that I think was a little over the top. But they have Superman show up in this to kind of give Jaime a pep talk because he's not sure what he wants to do. And then Superman's also, oh, by the way, you're grounded. You're not allowed to do any superheroing with aliens in the Reach unless we give you the okay. Because we don't know if your suit's going to overreact or not.
I'm sorry. When you say pet top, so you're gonna be a superhero? I think
No, not like that.
I think Captain America.
The one gripe, if I could even call it that, the one issue I have with this is, you know how like in the West Side Story reboot, they had like the scenes where people are speaking Spanish and they chose not to do subtitles for people who don't speak Spanish.
Really?
They have a handful of scenes where Jaime's parents are talking to each other in Spanish, and there's no translation. So if you don't speak Spanish, it doesn't really affect the story. Like it's not like, hey, y'all were just talking about this. It's nothing that affects the overall story, but it was just kind of like a little, oh. I mean, it makes sense. I know families that do this, like when they're talking amongst themselves, like they talk in Spanish because that's what they were raised. So that was my, not a minor gripe, but the artwork is good. I like the story so far, so I'll pick up the next issue. All right, number 3. Brain's gonna be shocked. Exterminators, number 3.
It's not number 1.
It's not number 1. Are you shocked? No, this book is fun though. This book is hella fun. Boom Boom is my favorite X-Girl now.
You burned my tit.
You burned my poo. And then they're talking about Dazzler's ass.
I know how big it is.
They use like the peach in the lettering. It was cracking me up. This is a fun book though. Like no lie. And then the cliffhanger that it ends on also was like, oh, that's interesting. Let's include that wild, crazy character.
My favorite overall, my favorite scene though is when they would be talking in front of this, being interrogated.
Yeah, and they're all dressed up in like those weird costumes, like Dazzler's in a cheerleader costume. Like that adds to the craziness. And then what is it? The scene where they're like she's talking about how she's doing weightlifting, and then like all the other women on the council are laughing, like Mystique and Storm. They're like snickering at them.
Because the exercise aim and gets her
A juicy dumper. A juicy dumper is the word that people use.
It's
It's so much fun.
It's less
gosh.
seeing Charles Xavier. He's pretty much a stuck-up prude. Pretty much
Look.
his reaction.
I'm going to say this. If Leah Williams writes Power Girl at all like she's writing this, I'm going to be reading those Power Girl stories she writes. All right. Number 2. You're all going to be shocked at this one. Shiny. It's the shiny foil. Justice Society of America, number 1. Look, it even has floating heads. I forget that it has the floating heads. Yeah,
Those
so
are
this...
caption boxes.
Whatever, it's their heads that are
They're not
floating.
floating heads. Floating heads are part of the cover. That's a caption box.
They're floating heads within a caption box.
Get off of my lawn.
Okay, fine. Anyway, no, so this, was an interesting story. I'm not wild about the fact that it focuses mainly on Huntress.
I know what your number 1 is. Wow.
Why'd you have to go and ruin the surprise? Okay, anyway, I'm going to finish with this one.
Good.
No, I do like the story. So it starts off with Huntress in this future timeline where she's recruited really a bunch of like villains, like legacy villains, to be the new JSA and Power Girl. And then something happens. She has to go back to the past and save the old school JSA, or warn the old school JSA of what's coming. So this one's really just an introduction or reintroduction, if you've been reading the other Jeff Johns books, to Helena Wayne. I like where it's going. It just kind of, it's like, okay, there's all these characters, and then at the end of this first issue, it's kind of irrelevant. I don't want to spoil or give too much away if anyone hasn't read this, but it is John's writing. It is still really good. It's effective. It's probably it's gonna hit you more if you've been reading like the previous Jeff Johns books, like Flashpoint Beyond or the New Golden Age #1. Those will probably, this will probably mean a little bit more if you've been reading those, but I think it is still pretty accessible if you haven't been. And so yeah, this is my number 2. I do love the gold. I wish they had done just a regular print cover though, because what I saw, it looks really cool. It looks really 90s.
You wanted this one.
Dude, my shop was selling that for $35.
I know, mine was under 10.
I need to go check out my second LCS to see if he's doing that, like if he's gouging for the extra prices. I know the guy at my the main LCS. I know he's just doing it because it's a Jerry Ordway cover, but
of course,
oh
yeah.
well.
I mean, I said it sounds like he is gouging because a lot of these guys, they look up on eBay the day it comes out. Like, oh crap! I should go check it up.
I do love the gold, Skip. It's so shiny and precious.
Hey, there's Skip and Tosh, the guy I sent a link to.
Skip and Tosh, my boy. A little sneak preview before I show off my number 1. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about this little ditty tonight. No, this is Ash was talking about this earlier. I scrolled through the chat. I saw him saying one of the best Marvel stories he's ever read.
You were here creeping?
I creep. I can creep. All right. Number 1 book of the week, and RDV says he knows what it is.
I'm just saying it's perfect. That's number 1.
Damn it. You stole the puns. Anyway, no. It's Catman and Kitten from Dynamite Comics. Y'all, it's a shame this is a one-shot. I hope more people are buying this, because maybe then Dynamite would make it an ongoing, or at least a miniseries. But y'all, I mean, the artwork, it's so 90s looking, old school. Like, it's so awesome. You've got ray guns, you've got dinosaurs in here, snake people. Like, it's Shazam. Look, it's a talking tiger in this. Like, this is what I want in a superhero book. If JSA had, not to diss the artists in JSA, but this is the art that I really love. I don't know. It has a certain tone, a certain vibe to it.
My question is, how many Nazis did they punch in that book?
How many Nazis? There are no Nazis.
Oh.
There are snake people. There's a crime gang called the Lavender Gang. There's a Vampirella ad in here. Of course there is, right? But there was somebody else in here too. Oh yeah, there's leopards and giant mongoloid people, and yeah, it's just such a fun book. There's like this evil genie guy, and there's all kinds of stuff in here. So, I mean, this is just a good, solid, fun. This is the only copy too that my LCS had. I'm really glad that I found it. That nobody else beat me to it.
They knew you're the only one that's gonna buy it.
Maybe, but this was a lot of fun. I highly recommend this. It's got a really strong Golden Age vibe to it. With regards to Catman Kitten, they have another little sidekick. He's like a photographer. He runs around with one of those old school flash cameras that looks like a box. Just a ton of fun. Highly recommend. Just as much as Justice Society, except this one's a little bit more accessible than Justice Society. It's a little bit simpler.
I'm just glad he chose to have a girl instead of a guy as his sidekick.
You were talking about that. So when it came out yesterday, I looked at it.
I
opened it up, looked at a couple pages, put it back.
See, I mean, the art's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Said there's absolutely, for me, it was 100% art, because and we were talking about that before you came on. Yeah, I know.
I want to spit my drink out. Thanks.
I was a '90s kid. Okay, to me it is old school.
And
I was
realized, and if I could be serious for a moment.
Sorry.
No. I wouldn't interrupt you. I said,
oh, okay.
I think that you coming along in the hobby when you did, you are more. I say you have more of a tolerance for what I just generally refer to as Tumblr art. And comics are too expensive at this point for me to spend $4 and $5 if the art is just objectively bad to me.
Yeah.
Not say that it was to anybody else, but I said that's what kept me from buying it, because it had a neat cover, it had a neat premise. I said, and the way you described it, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now that I do get a tremendous discount, but then it's like I said, the comic book industry needs to, it'll never happen at this point, but man, we need some artists to come back, or we need some artists to be discovered. I'm gonna see if I do this right. 3, 2, 1. No, Ash, you're still doing it wrong.
What you need is some Brett Breeding and some artists like John Byrne to come back.
Well, it's just, I don't know. I said, it's just, there's a lot of good indie artists, but I just didn't, the guy who did that book just didn't click for me.
Because I'm looking at the old
I can understand. No, I can respect that, because I know, there's comics that I like, Vinkman's like, oh, it looks too cartoon. I just have a thing, like I'm really drawn to that kind of cartoony.
Drawn, see what you did there.
Yeah. I didn't even plan that. Yeah, it's just like a tone or a vibe that I get from it. It just like there's a feeling. It almost feels like it's trying to capture that golden age spirit kind of to me, but it's totally subjective. So, or subjective to me, I guess. So 90s was 30 years ago. Yes, it was. And 5 more gray hairs just popped up here as I said that. And that's why Zach loves anime.
Yeah, I'm going back. Yeah.
The creativity.
I'm going back to, go ahead.
No, I was saying, I don't mind that style art in anime. I don't know why. I said it's. I can't put my finger on it. I said I wanted to get that because I'm kind of getting back into newer comics. I'll pretty much take anybody's recommendations except for Ash's.
Well, I can understand, because I go back, I look at Jerry Ordway's art back in 1990 when he was working on Superman title. And he was writing it, and the art fits the writer. That's the one thing people don't understand, is that if you can get a writer who can also write but also do the art, and he makes the art fit what he's telling, it just flows so much better. But very rarely do you get a creative team where you get a great writer and then you get an even greater artist, or even just right around the same talent. Nowadays you get like Vida Alala, and then you put Dan Moore on it, or was it Ivan Rice and Bendis?
Maybe Bendis had all the Bendis and Tom King get all the best artists.
It's weird. Like I said, I go back and I look at Jerry Ordway's art, interior art, just the way he drew stuff, how it fit up. Now, some would call that boring art. I call it actually fits the story. If you're heavily invested in the story, you're gonna enjoy the book. But the art can bring it down. Like I said, you could have the best writer right now. We could have Jeremy Adams writing a story and have Riley Rossmo do the art, and it'll just ruin the book for me. So I can stomach. I know what Brian's getting at. But I can tolerate that art you just showed me more so than I can some of these worst artists. I guess he doesn't want to be with us anymore, Brian.
No, I'm getting a phone call real quick. It's my dad, so you can take me off the big
Oh,
screen.
is he telling that you can't show up tomorrow?
Well,
right.
let's I'll stall until Zach comes back.
You got some books?
I have a few, and some I want to show Ash if he's still here. I saw him a minute ago.
Never mind. Apparently, it was a butt dial.
He was cooking. Yeah. He said he's gonna go watch Andor, Star Wars.
I know. I saw that. Like, I like Andor well enough, but really?
His dad is watching the show. That's why.
No, that would be hysterical. My dad loves. He does not know anything about comic books. He is not interested in them either.
All right, Mr. Breen, the floor is yours.
Well, wait a moment. I'm going to finish my heater. So you kids talk amongst yourselves.
Let me see what else I have. Let me see what else. I've got some other stuff here. I can show.
Zach show is this new.
Well, I got something came here in a package too, so I got to show in the mail.
Oh well, then show off your stuff then.
It's only one thing.
I'll
And
just
it is a package I got from our loved friend of the channel,
Our beloved.
beloved.
Oh, I haven't gotten mine. Oh, I wonder if it came in the mail today. Actually, I haven't been to the
This
mailbox.
came in the mail a couple days ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't got mine
For
yet.
those who are wondering,
That's the new Common America.
yes, Common
Oh.
America ones. The card comes in.
Anime.
And everyone has a code in the back here, so if you want to use it, I never use these codes, so first person, first come, uses that and gets a discount.
Nice. I think they have a Black Friday sale going on too.
$5 off at the checkout, so there you go, iconiccomics.com. Whoever wants to use it. All right, so, and of course, everything comes wrapped in the big old bubbles.
Bubbles.
So here is the cover.
Nice.
There is the back cover. So, nice book. It's a hardcover, so you can hear that.
Man,
Still skipping. I really don't even want to open because these books are tight.
Yeah.
So, right. So not only did I get the book, I got something else. I figured I needed something else. Finally, I wanted to jump on the bandwagon. Oh, I did get this though. Common Victory.
Ah, nice. I'm gonna have to bribe Tim for a Marmot Maiden card.
And each card comes with the stats in the back. Like if you go on Comic Vine or something like that, they have the power levels and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing I got, because all the cool kids were doing it, I decided to get the calendar.
Nice.
And holy crap, was not expecting that in the back.
The pizza or the negligee?
The bigger,
The bigger.
the bigger one.
What will I bribe Tim with? I'll pay more. I'll contribute more to the minimum package. Nice. Very cool.
Tim, if you're listening, thank you, man. You're awesome. Why isn't this artist doing the main book? As much as I love Tim, I kind of love they had to use kind of like.
Tim is great, but yeah, Jeff Spokes. You guys need to give him like a spinoff or something.
yeah, that's great. You guys both just threw Tim under the bus.
Oh, I was driving the bus. I didn't throw him under. That was.
Oh, that's
too bad for Zach.
Yeah. Go back to that one there.
Go back.
Pass the mantle, Tim.
No, Tim, you do great work, man. You do fantastic work. God, dog it, Misha's my favorite. Good lord.
No buts about it.
No buts about it.
You put those away, you strumpet.
Sure.
And those.
Oh yeah, it's the Black Ops girl,
Yep.
Penelope.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I think he said he's like 3 books ahead of schedule.
So these books are great to have if you don't have kids or a wife. Zach, they're all good for you.
Oh, don't worry, I got the calendar too.
He's like, I can
Wow,
finally get it.
way to dig the knife in there.
Well, no, he said he got it too. So he's like, you know what? I can finally do things I can run here. I'm a single batch again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that was cool. And each book comes with a digital file.
Yep.
So you can read it later on. Really doesn't want to fit. Oh well. No. So
Lock
Zach,
up. Yes.
Over's next wants to show off their stuff.
Well, you've already seen this. This is just one of my books that I won from Ease. Actually, I have several books that I won from Ease Auction. So I got this. We know Vinkman loves to praise Chuck Dixon, so I got one of his Nightwing trades.
Praise Dick Grayson.
Love and Bullets is this one.
Yes, and I'm Breen. Do you remember that series?
Yeah,
That's the one where she seduces him, right? And actually falls
I
for him.
thought that was a mini series, but
But I thought that was part of the miniseries and collected in that. I thought.
This is 26 through 34, Nightwing 1 million, and Secret Files and Origins.
yeah, it would have been after. I think
Nightwing-
actually I can't remember.
Nightwing Hunters was the last one before the last volume they had was Batman Hunters Cry for Blood.
And then what the hell? Evil Black Cat, dude. Says Zach will tell his boys to lay off the Asians for a month.
Wow.
Dang. Okay, anyway.
I mean, they were making clan jokes earlier.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm really upset I wasn't able to appropriate his greeting this time.
Also, we need to go back to yours. We'll
Got
keep
some.
going. I'll
That's okay. I got some of these classic Peanuts books from Englantine's auctions. This one's going to be a Christmas present for my mom. Gospel According to Peanuts. And then this one I'll probably keep for me. So
this is from the very beginning of this, and Evil Black Cat flares up. He's like, meow, motherfuckers, and all like,
meow.
And Marania just tattles on you right away.
Yeah, I saw that too. Marania. F2 Brute.
I love this. Was he peeing in the sandbox?
I don't know what I should have even expected.
And then he called you a Chihuahua.
Called me I'm a Great Dane, if nothing else. Okay, I'm not a Chihuahua. Little yippy rats. Anyway.
Are you all done now, Mr. Chihuahua?
I'm done. I'm a Great Dane, sir.
You'll kill Taco Bell?
Actually, I could go for some Taco Bell right now.
See? You're a Chihuahua.
I love Taco Bell. I know it's bad for me, but I love it. I know it's bad for me.
It's objectively bad.
Confirmed. Zach is Scooby-Doo.
All right.
There you go.
So let's see.
Sorry.
My number 5, 4, and 3 don't exist. So my number 2 book of the week from Archie Comics, Bob Phantom.
Ooh.
Nice.
I'd love to tell you what it was about, but I've already forgotten.
It's about the Red Circle Theater and a guy dressing up as Batman.
It had some some of the Archie universe characters pop up in the book. And
does Archie is it Captain Pureheart is who
No.
he is? Does he show up in that?
No, it's just I still don't know who Bob Phantom is. I guess maybe I should read it again, but and my number 1 with the bland, just regular cover, Justice Society of America. I said kind of got taken out of the story for a minute when Power Girl, went full Karen, but it got better, and I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to see where the story goes. And you guys have already gotten a couple of reviews, so you don't need mine. Now, Ash, if you're still here, I got a couple of things.
It's great when the old man says he'll continue it, because when the old man says, "I'm done with this shit," then you know it didn't pass the Meg test.
About 30 years ago,
Uh-oh.
in a world without Evil Black Cat.
He is ready to monologue.
Wait, 30 years ago. That was a long time ago, right? According to Zach.
I was 4. I was 4 years old.
You little freaking
Fuck you. Dark Horse Comics did a series of prestige format books about Universal monsters.
Hmm.
And I found this one. I stumbled across the Dracula, but today I came across the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Ooh.
Now, if that art looks familiar, and this is why I was hoping Ash was still here, that is Art Adams.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my
Not
gosh.
only is
Wow.
it,
His chest caved in. Look at that.
I know. I saw that. It's like a crater.
he does the
That's-
interiors. It's
That's
Art
awesome.
Adams and Terry Austin.
Wow.
I had no idea this book existed until today.
That's really cool. That was my favorite of like the old like Universal monster movies. Like Creature of the
Yeah.
Black Lagoon has been my favorite one forever. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. About
He does. Art Adam did the interior too.
yes,
Nice.
Adams and Terry Austin. That must have taken him a year.
Wow. Very cool.
Now I tweeted this earlier today. This is still the greatest crossover of all time, but the Archie version of the Punisher.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I saw you showing up in the Twitter group earlier.
Yes,
That's cool.
I hear there'd be a chaperone, but this is ridiculous.
Giant 48 pages, and that's when he mistakes Archie for being another villain. They ran
Yeah.
Riverdale. Yep.
yeah.
Who is he mistaken for? Arcade?
No, it's this guy, this monster who's the name he's going by is Red Fever,
Mm-hmm.
but he looks like Archie. He's just more buck-toothed and nastier. So the Punisher follows him to Riverdale, and of course, they're having a dance, and the bad guys have replaced the caterers, and a shootout ensues, and blah blah blah. At the end, Miss Grundy gives Punisher a Riverdale sweater, and on their way out of town, Microchip goes, "Well, we're off to a real kind city." He goes, "We're off to a real friendly place next, Gotham City." And the other epilogue is, you see this guy holding a picture of Jughead is supposedly the most dangerous assassin in the world. And then you see claws pop, and he goes, "Well, we'll see about that, bub."
Bub.
This is a lot of fun. If you haven't read this, find it. It is a blast. And
I love how they draw the 5 o'clock shadow on Punisher. I'm thinking like whenever you saw it in an old Archie book, because it was on a drunkard, someone who's basically a homeless guy. He's got the beard, so you never see it on anybody else though, other than Punisher.
And that I picked up today was the second volume of Vault of Horror.
Ooh.
Ooh, watch that hand, guy. I'm about to lose it.
It
Yep.
was actually a trade because that slipcase with the EC romance books that I showed about a month ago.
Yeah.
The guy that sold it in kind of lost his mind, forgot that he agreed to a price and wanted it back. So I had to leave the store, come back, get that, take it back. Then he changed his mind again, but I said, "Screw it, just give it back." Yeah, I don't want this old fool showing up a month from now wondering where it is again.
Yeah.
So the
Well-
money I paid for that, I used for this. So EC for EC, but it's
Usually when you sell something, you don't get it back.
this
Usually
guy,
that's how it goes. Yeah.
this guy is a little not all there.
Oh,
Apparently.
okay. You don't want to deal with. You don't want to take me out. He took advantage of my father.
Yeah, he basically said the books that he sold, and he goes, "If you can use them, great. If not, just donate them to somebody." Blah blah blah. So I said, "Mark, give him $100. I can do something with these." And the guys today's ranting and raving, saying, "He only offered me $100, which was really lowball. And I don't think anybody even booked him out." And I was like, "Well, kind of half-assed because you kind of said you didn't want anything for him." But yeah, I said that's neither here nor there. But
That's like that's kids. When you sell something, there's a receipt for you saying that you paid. Thank you. The
Yeah.
cash.
Right.
So you can't come back and say, well, you should have.
yeah,
It's on. Even the guy was all there. The fact that he said that, and you gave him $100 for it. There's a transaction there. If he wanted more from that, he should have said more. or refuse it.
Yeah, well, it's
It's like I said,
yeah, I know. I said it's one of those things.
it's like a punk kid coming in and being like, "Oh, you know what? I changed my mind last week. Well, sorry, we already sold it. Somebody else.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
Yep.
but
what are you gonna do? It's that's life. Life's
Maybe he saw some episode of like Pawn Stars and figured he could get more for it.
that's,
Is that even on anymore?
I think reruns of it. My
Oh,
dad watches that show religiously.
and it's something that's going into the Venkman pile.
Ooh,
Ooh.
original Purgatory. Ooh, it's
Yeah.
a zero edition. Now,
Yeah.
is that before the one, or is that like the annual?
I
Really?
think it's the right before the one of her monthlies started.
Yeah, because like usually the zeros, at least now today, I don't know if they were like back then.
Oh
but-
God, Chaos had zeros out the wazoo. I mean, it's yeah, it's very hard to keep up with. But yes,
Said
I
I'm-
said light week, but I see no reason to be on full screen anymore because
Well, I wasn't sure if you're done. or not.
Welcome to my world.
yeah,
So
every other day. Okay, I'm done.
Every other day. So
yeah, but Zach, you're pretty.
I
Not,
can't-
not just going. That's why I grew this. I'm not pretty anymore. Now I'm rugged. Someone told me. It's like, hey, okay.
Someone
Someone that's not
was-
used to seeing this,
no,
maybe.
someone was selling you a bill of goods.
So I can't remember if I showed these books up on my channel. I know at least I've done it twice on E's channel. The books. Maybe I did show them off. I can't remember. So maybe I can't remember. Did I show any books up on Tuesday night, Zach? I don't think so. We just did the top 5. And that's it.
I think you just did the top 5. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you showed anything.
For those who may have not paid attention or don't watch I Love Comics, but I got this.
Hey, the Vendetti. No, you did show that off on Tuesday. I remember because I commented because we found out Vendetti didn't write the whole thing.
Yeah, so
Because there's that gap. Yeah, you did show that off.
Okay, because
Still
I
cool
did.
though.
Because I showed them off on Monday night also on I Love Comics. Okay, so I did show them off, but I did show off the Kirby Superpowers,
Superpowers.
which will be coming to a future reading on this channel.
They actually have toys of superpowers at Walmart. I keep seeing
Oh.
like Dark Side action figures and Batman.
Like I
Well,
said,
That was what Superpowers was. It was a toy
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, these are like brand new. These aren't.
and just in
the
case
original.
somebody hadn't seen these, so it's a little miniseries by Roger Stern.
I don't think you showed that one off. You might have if it was in the same box. Very cool though.
Issue 2 of the series.
Supergirl eggs. Hatch your own Supergirl.
Yeah,
So-
the Supergirl eggs is kind of a callback to the series from the 80s where someone created a bunch of like miniature Supergirls.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I want to point out to Zach.
What's that?
Look at that Superman. Now
Yeah.
compare that to Dan Mora's.
Okay, but it's just an art style change. Like Superman still looks like a muscular dude. He's just Dan Morris style. He draws people a bit more streamlined. It's an artistic thing. It's not him trying to make Clark Kent appear weak. It's just the way he draws characters.
Well, there's also a push to
I mean,
make
look
the
at
characters
Kirby's.
look
Look-
more like real life, and that's
But
Not
yeah,
what
I
it
don't.
is.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. But I mean, Venkman, you could also go on, like too far in the opposite direction. Do we remember how Rob Liefeld drew Captain America? Like big old barrel chest.
I mean,
that-
if you took a super soldier serum, you're not going to look human. You're going to look like Arnold.
But you're not going to look like Pamela Anderson with as a guy, though. You know,
well, there's also you also
he needs a
there were
bra,
a lot of
basically.
people in the mid 70s. Reed Richards and Johnny Storm looked like Schwarzenegger in the first Terminator movie.
There you
So
go.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can go too far in the other direction too,
Right.
but Superman, like guys like Superman and Captain America,
Look at that.
other
That's-
than Rob Liefeld, that one that you're referring to,
hmm
you really can't make those guys too muscular, too big, because unless you're talking about like,
so
steroided out bodybuilders,
My-
because
my
they are
point-
the pinnacle of.
my point though is look at his legs. Look at the V of his of it goes up.
It looks like his veins are bulging.
That's his muscles, man.
I know, but it looks like his veins are bulging.
It's just saying that's what Superman is. He's like they always make fun of it when you see him like, hey, well, they must grow him big in Smallville, because he's a big, tall, muscular dude, over 6 feet tall. He's like the Rock or Henry Cavill.
Now, one thing you could make an argument for Superman is if he's the strongest man in the world, what actually works those muscles? But then my counter to that is he's Superman. Let him be huge.
Yeah.
I'd say, well, Star Labs, him just lifting weights, and Star Labs pressure.
I mean,
down
Batman should be jacked even more so than Superman because his muscles actually have to work.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, that's
You want to know how Superman got his muscles? Like got those? The guy dragged 7 planets through a galaxy.
this.
And his giant chain.
But it all goes back to this comics are a fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people should look
fantastic,
possibly fit and whatnot.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I definitely agree. We don't need superheroes looking like average Joes with beer gut. Like they don't need to look like Perry. They need to look like Superman.
I want Clark Kent in a suit where he looks like Batista trying to put a suit on, and he just looks.
No, because that doesn't. No, because see that's too far. See, that makes him look like a bodybuilder guy, where Clark Kent is just supposed to be anonymous looking, like he's supposed to just like blend into the background. He shouldn't be like buttons straining to close his shirt. They should fit normally.
And for those who've never read this, the Venditti run, oh my gosh, this is a great Parasite, story here at the beginning. And then while he's fighting it, basically the whole community gets together in the town and like works together. It's like, my mom, she needs she powers out, but she's got medicine. He's like, hey, I got a generator. They all come together. Now see, that's comic book fantasy logic. You really wouldn't see it.
I will counter that, sir. You have never lived in Louisiana post hurricane. Everybody comes together to people let you into their homes. People deliver food. They go up and down the bayous and boats ferrying people out. So I will say that is not fantasy. The best story though in that I still think is the one where he takes Atlas's place for a day. And so because Superman is missing for a day, all of his friends in the Justice League contribute to help him out because Superman was there to help them out. That's probably my favorite story.
My point though is this is important in the Superman story.
Mm-hmm.
Him inspiring people to work together, helping one another out until he gets power back out in this.
Yeah.
I said this color that when I was reading this, it felt like the Roger Stern was off. It felt like, when you actually had poor Alice. Oh, well, did we not get rid of the bots? I thought Miranda was doing this. Apparently she stepped away.
More bots. Bots. Everybody.
There you go. Miranda must have stepped away because she hit the first one. So, oh, it's gone there. You can calm down, evil black cat. The bot won't touch you.
Show me on this chart where the bot touched you.
Like I said, there's just so much cool stuff with this stuff, and then we get the art in the background of this.
Oh, that's cool.
I wish they would have gave this a hardcover.
Oh, is that not a hardcover? It's a trade?
Oh, it's a soft. It's a soft, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, this was all digital, and I'm kind of like, really? Because I was talking to was it a couple of years ago? I was talking to Robert Venditti. I said, dude, is your stuff ever going to be collected on physical? Because I said, digital's cool, but I want it in a cover, or I can actually just read offline.
Right.
If I want to.
By the way,
and I said it's a shame the fact that they made you go on digital versus being the ongoing writer. Venditti got to do a digital. How much of a slap of a face that? Instead of now he's being passed up by a Joshua Williamson for when does he get his run?
Well, he's doing another Superman 88 or Superman 89. He's got a second volume of that coming out. 78, not 88. Or that's Batman.
But when does he get to take over the actual book? Or unless he doesn't, or unless he maybe doesn't want to. Maybe he's having fun doing Elseworld stuff.
Maybe.
It's just when I read this, Breen, have you read these at all?
No.
They're little mini stories. They don't really connect.
Yeah, I
together.
wish that DC would recognize what they have there and give him one of the big two, or hell,
Mhm.
give him Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
I know why he's
Wonder
not allowed
Woman
to write
needs a good
Wonder
book.
Woman.
These are just so much fun. I mean, if you watch the 90s cartoons, or even just read the 90s stuff, like with Jerry Ordway, Jurgens, Byrne stuff, it is just fun overall. It's whether he's fighting against Metallo or he's helping out, doing something heroic, just helping out someone who's basically their land's being seized by someone, and he basically covers a plot behind it, kind of evil corporation or whatever. And now, don't get me wrong. When I say evil corporation, I'm not saying comparing to Batman Fortress. That was shit.
Yeah, by the way, Kat was saying that Clark Kent grew up on a farm plowing the fields. That made him buff.
Yes.
That's in the version that no longer exists, and that's why Bankman and I rail on that all the time.
Yeah.
The Jeff Johns, who is not perfect, but his version is
Look at that.
that he's Kal-El first and Clark second.
That is just great.
He's always been, uber powerful, even as a toddler. So he didn't have to work his muscles even then. So that's, unfortunate. But that's
so the other plus side is that Clark and Lois are married. But there's no Jonathan though. So which I'm all right with that, because I wouldn't want to see full-grown Jonathan anyway. I'm glad it wasn't tied into anything like that. But yeah. Who pranks the prankster? Just all the characters you basically haven't seen in a while in a Superman book. And people might say, well, I don't like Parasite. He's everywhere. Like, not really.
No? Who says that?
The people
Point them out to me. Point them out so I can laugh at them.
Pretty much anytime you go online, someone's complaining, well, there's too much Joker, there's too much this. And then
Joker, yes. But
now there is. But before, people were saying, oh, I'm sick of Joker. We've had him back in the 400s and all that stuff. What do we... Batman needs new villains.
The last time I read Parasite in a book was the Brian Hitch Justice League miniseries that he did. And he wasn't even the main bad guy. He was like a side bad guy. Rhaegar, Parasite is an awesome Superman villain. The more energy he absorbs, the bigger and more powerful he gets. He's a parasite, hence the name.
Yep.
Do your homework, young man. Little Rhaegar.
I'm just so excited to read this, though.
What's that?
This is Superpowers.
Oh, yeah, Project Superpowers.
Kirby drawing Batman and Superman and...
No, not Project Superpowers, just Superpowers.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
So we get the Flash in here, too.
Barry.
Wow, you snob.
If it's not Wally or Jay, I'm not buying.
This is pre-crisis.
I'm kidding. Barry's okay.
Don't worry, it's safe for you, Zach. It's pre-crisis.
I like pre-crisis stuff. I like post-crisis stuff.
You said it. Take a drink.
I just did. You just missed it. Are you on an 8-second delay? Hey, he's fighting a Skrull.
Yeah, the Hulk. What is the Skrull Hulk?
The Skrulk.
The Skrulk. Yeah. He beat me by 1 second.
They get the Cosmic Treadmill. Like I said, it's just, and this kind of reminds me of the Frontier.
The Darwin Cook Frontier? Yeah.
Yep. So you can see where
New Frontier. I almost said Infinite Frontier, but New Frontier. There needs to be somebody standing between the two sides doing the Professor X with his arms raised. Let them fight!
Yep. I said, Space we got Dr. Fate in here too. Story, Wonder Woman, Hawkman with a shirt off, and he has normal helmets.
Yeah, the normal helmet, not the weird one.
The 1940s look. Aquaman in there. Hey, who's that?
Green Arrow!
Green Arrow's in there, yeah. Like I said, and then a little stuff talking about Jack Kirby in the back too.
Oh, neat.
So, this was $40 for a soft cover. This is Kirby.
Wow. Oh yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. The other one was what? $20.
Neat. Oh, very cool. Yeah, if I see that for $20, I'm definitely buying it.
definitely see
By the way, before we get out of here, I need to tout something.
that. Is it sports related?
No, it's
Okay.
definitely comic related.
All right, the floor is yours, my friend.
Last night on the very sparsely attended Four Color Fossils episode,
Say what?
yeah, we were a few fossils short.
Well, you were all there, and I saw.
But yes, you guys should have come on.
Well, I didn't have a link.
Yeah, I should have mentioned. I should have said because
I
that's
was
what
in the
we
chat
do
towards the
when
end.
we- There's Gratu was talking about a channel called Comic Book Historians,
Okay.
What?
and it's not a big channel. It's like under 10,000 subs. But if you go to the playlist, there is a guy whose name I don't remember, but it says creator interviews, and he did them all basically at the turn of the century, and he interviews Ramita Sr., Julius Schwartz, Irving Hassan, Nick Cardy, basically any of the creators that mattered that were still alive at the end of the century. He did interviews with. I watched the Julius Schwartz one last night. It was fascinating.
Wow.
I don't know how familiar you are with Julius Schwartz, but he was the head of DC. Not the boss, but he's like the main editor, and he was there in the 50s. It was his idea to revive the Flash, and then the Green Lantern, and he helped create the Justice League as a concept. And it's funny, he goes after that, that's why Jack Leibowitz, I think the guy in charge at the time, was playing golf with Martin Goodman, and the story goes, yeah, I got this real successful book, team book, and that's when Martin Goodman told Stan to do one.
I've heard. Okay, yeah, okay.
That story may or may not be true, but no, who cares at this point?
Yeah.
But
how old is Julius Schwartz?
He's long dead.
Yeah, he died about 20-ish years ago.
How old? So he wasn't on the channel.
He died in like 2003.
So this is basically a documentary about the guy?
No. These interviews were conducted in 1999 through 2001.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But Schwartz goes, so, you could say that I not only saved DC, I saved Marvel. And I think and the way he said it, he didn't come across as arrogant. I mean, he still came across as a likable old dude. But it was just a fascinating interview. And there's about 30 of them on there.
Oh. Hey.
All right. What? You saw Captain America? I'm sorry. Did I offend any of our Chinese viewers?
We're getting Andy from Community.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess I do look like Andy from Community.
Well, especially when you stood up and we saw your gut.
But I definitely recommend checking these out because I said, especially if you have any passion for comic book history or any desire to go back and learn some, I think I'm definitely going to watch the John Romita Jr. one or Senior one soon.
It's called, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Comic Book Historians, 3 words.
Okay.
And I said there's an interview with Joe Kubert. So I mean, I think it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Very cool.
And I think the only one that's still alive is Romita Sr. from these interviews.
Wow.
There's interviews Murphy Anderson. It's like I said, it's just a lot of good stuff. I've said this before. One of the things I regret about the conventions I went to in the 80s, because I remember Murphy Anderson sitting at a table by himself. I didn't go talk to him.
Oh, wow.
I was familiar with him, but it was never really what I was into. I was never really had any desire to meet the creators. Now, having been doing this for almost 50 years, there were some legends I could have spoken to and didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had I remember there was a Comic-Con I went to several years back, and I remember I actually have a piece of art It's somewhere in my closet. I haven't found a frame to hang it up. But Art Adams was at a con, and I didn't at the time realize how good his art was. So I didn't really talk to him. I just went over and bought a print. He did a variant cover for Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a Bendis book at the time. And I bought a print, but I didn't talk to him or ask him any questions or anything. Now I'm like, dang it. I should have missed
Right.
opportunity there. But you live and you learn.
Isn't it a column in the newspaper?
Eh?
Missed opportunities.
Yeah. What paper?
I don't know. Back in the day, wasn't that like a dating connection?
Is it?
Misconnections or last it was.
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong guy. Newspapers? What are those? I'm so young. I've never read a newspaper in my life. Just
You
kidding.
probably haven't.
I actually have. Don't worry. I used to fight my mom for the puzzles and the crosswords.
It's the David Armstrong interview playlist inside of Comic Book Historians.
Okay.
Definitely worth subbing to. Yeah, so let's see. We have John Buscema, John Romita Sr., short one with Marie Severin, Martin Filchok, which I do not know who that is. Vin Sullivan, not familiar with him either. Will Eisner,
Ooh.
Nick Carty, Joe Simon, Irv Novick, Jim Mooney, Joe Kubert. That's it. Erwin Hassan, Carmine Infantino, John Broom, Murphy Anderson, Julie Schwartz. I said Joe Gila, Erwin Donenfeld, who was the son of, oh crap, I can't remember what Donenfeld's. I should know the name. Who was basically there at the founding of National Comics. Rick Estrada, Paul Levitz. No, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
and then Arnold Drake, George Tuska, Jerry Robinson. So there's some names that I said, we're not going to get anything else from them, but
No. Eva Black
That's awesome.
Cat says, "Don't worry, Eric Breen. You can talk to them soon enough in the afterlife."
Oh no!
You know who's not in the afterlife? Evil Black Cat. So you'll be at peace. Unless he goes out with you.
Wouldn't that be a cruel joke?
For Evil Black Cat, it would be because now he made all those jokes on. He's stuck with them. It's all right. So a preview for tomorrow for the retrospective.
those Gam singular.
I've got to read those. I forgot.
We'll be touching on Amazing Spider-Man 144, 145, 146, 147,
The tarantula.
148, and most likely we'll be talking more about 149. Yes, we're talking about the original Clone Saga, and that's the only Clone Saga there is.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I mean, the other one had its moments. It just
Yes.
it suffered from 90s itis.
Yep.
6
Um,
books. I got to read 6
it-
books. It's like being in high school. I have
Well,
a reading list.
There's also they touch on a couple of giant size issues, but in the Scorpion story, Spider-Man makes Scorpion apologize to Aunt May, and she's she's wagging her finger out. She goes, "Young man, I haven't a very high opinion of Spider-Man, but at least he has manners." And he goes, "Why, you old?" And just watch your tongue, or I'll slap your face.
Yeah.
Great Aunt May moment.
But look at these. I love these covers, though, man. Like, look, just the detail. Everything's all confined to one spot. Now, Marania, you're probably gonna say it's too cluttered. I think it works perfectly fine compared to everything. You know what's gonna happen in here. Now, I don't know if this is a scene from the actual thing, but
It's the first time
It
Aunt
is.
May should have died.
yeah,
And it's funny because bring it back to what I was touting. One of the things Julia Schwartz mentioned at the end of the interview is, I don't think the covers are as important today, and it says 1999, as they were in my day, because back then it was you're looking at them on a shelf. You don't have a comic book press. It was the cover that decided what's going to separate that kid from his dime or his 12 cents. is nowadays, because by the late 90s, I mean, you had the shops, you had the press, you knew what was coming in the books. A lot of times you'd read up on what was going to be in that book. So the cover, that's kind of when we started gravitating towards what are now considered the pinup covers.
Yes.
But in those days, if you wanted, the cover, you had one page to tell you what you were going to be reading.
Mm-hmm.
Now-
And so I said it definitely was more important in those days.
Now I gotta say, this is the most stupidest idea for a villain ever. Because if he ends up tripping on those spikes, it's over. But overall, I said I love the art. If I would have saw this on the shelf, dude, I would have been like, dude, I'm getting this, and everything coming out around this, these years. And then finally, you see this, the Jackal. I'm like, what the? And then you see the whole Gwen Stacy arc. It's just cool. Look at the size of those freaking chains, man. Those are some freaking heavy, thick chains. And then it all leads up to this. It's like here, that's a crazy cover too. Like, and they're limited to how many, like, not that many colors either. Really,
Yeah, it looks like it's in the middle of Crisis on Infinite Earths with that red sky.
red, yellow, green, and blue, and a little bit of
But if
black.
you notice, that's not the sky. That's a Spider-Man mask in the background.
I see it now. I see it now.
Yeah.
But it's, like I said, when I first started collecting, as a kid, it was like 1 year after this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that first attracted me to the hobby was just the way the covers jumped out at you off of the shelves,
Yeah.
or the spinner racks. And you made your, early on, that's how I based my decisions. Then I eventually started following the titles and I just looked for the next issue. But in those days, they said you also, one of the things he lamented was the multiple part stories.
Mm-hmm.
Because he goes, if you go into a shop and you see part 4, so you're like, why do I want to read this? I didn't see the first 3. He goes, but then, I said, that seems to be working. So,
Right.
yeah, but it's, like I said, it's, there's definitely, I said, the covers were, because in 76 for Marvel, Jack Kirby did half of them, Gil Kane did the other half. So it was just, you couldn't lose either way.
And I love this too. It's a little bit of mysteriously, like, like, am I seeing things? You can't be dead. And like, for those who, if you've been following along, you're like, only 2 women at this point had died, right? Did Wolf, did she die after this or before this?
Oh no, so she hadn't even been created yet.
Oh, that's right. So she's there later. Okay.
No, and it's funny. Like the story goes here, Stan Lee, wanted Gwen Stacy. He said kill her off. So Jerry Conway does that, and like a month later, Stan goes, bring her back. He goes, well, you just told me to kill her off. He goes, I don't care how you do it, just bring her back. And so this is what they came up with.
Yeah, and like I said, these covers, I love the design of Spider-Man. You look at today's Spider-Man design, I don't like it. I love this. This is what I grew up reading. This was my first version of Spider-Man. I read through Amazing 15, or Amazing Fantasy 15. Start with that, then Amazing 1 through basically going up to 600 and then I quit it one more day. I said, that's overall. I love
drink.
I know, drink.
I don't like this game.
Post-crisis.
I don't say anything else nearly as often as Vinkman says post-crisis or one more day.
Drink
Or
game.
Chuck Dixon.
Well, just as long as I'm a Great Dane doesn't become your catchphrase.
All right. So
No, it's not going to be. I don't know if I have a catchphrase. I'll come across one of these days. I don't want to scare Evil Black Cat away though.
I never noticed the no parking sign. It says, Monday through Friday. I love that. It's actually very authentic. It's like it's 9 a.m. to 6. Wait, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Oh, okay. That's okay. Oh, that's on Saturday and Sunday. That's probably like the Marvel hours on the weekends. They work. But said overall, this is me tomorrow. Zach, you'll be joining us, I believe. You said?
Yeah, if I'm gonna do my best to get some reading in on these. But yeah, I do plan to be there tomorrow though. My schedule opened up, so I will be there for the retrospect, and I will be there for whatever we end up reading.
Brian, do you remember when they had these up on the roofs? They usually had the wooden water towers. What a day that was!
No, I can't say that I remember those. So is the man with the freakishly long fingers going to be joining us tomorrow? Or is...
If he's not, he's in trouble. I mean, do we trade? How's it go? Do I get like Zach when when Pixel's not here, and then when Pixel's not or when Zach's not here, I get Pixel.
I think that's the arrangement that we made.
And then when neither of them are here, I have Skip come in and we talk about Court of Owls.
I need to reread Court of Owls. It's been a minute.
So.
But speaking of Skip, I am going to have to duck out because I actually need to finish up. I started reading this. I got most of the way through, but I still need to go ahead and get to the ending because we got a lot that we're covering in this book tonight.
Zach's catchphrase is bannable on YouTube. Yeah, don't do the arm movement either. No,
Evil Black Cat.
And
so funny.
Imperial Goddess, yes, our friend Pixel has the freakishly long fingers.
Now,
He does.
I want to point out that Zach is leaving to study for the retrospective he's doing with Skip and Ash. He told us, I might get around to reading it. I don't know. Maybe if there's nothing good on television.
I didn't say that. Look,
You
I
need
just
to show the same respect to Venkman that you show to Skip and Ash.
I show him the same respect that he shows me.
I do
got
show
nothing.
respect all the time.
Yes, sure. He did let me on the panel. That is true.
I mean, I gave you a link. What more do you want?
That's true. That is true. He does give me the links pretty early. I'm
I
never
compared
waiting.
I compared you to Chris Pratt when he was on Community. It's your favorite actor.
That is my favorite actor. Did you see the
See?
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer that dropped today?
Yes, I did see that today, and I saw the Indiana Jones 5. Actually, we're gonna call it Indiana Jones 4 because we don't give a shit about Crystal Kingdom Skull, whatever it is. That was horrible and beyond cruelty to animals and people.
But did you see the new Transformers trailer?
No, I did not see the Transformers trailer.
The Beast Wars movie.
Now I'm glad that I missed it because
It looks really good though. I mean, the Transformers always look good. It's the plot that gets the bad rap all of the time. But it looks really good. They have RC. It looks like RC is going to be a major character this time around. And Bumblebee.
I'm more excited for them to reboot MASH. Have it take place during
Okay, Imperial Goddess. Here's what you do. You're going to watch the first 3. There is no other. There's just 3. If someone says Shia LaBeouf, it's a fake. It's not real. It is unfortunate because I did like the role that they cast Shia LaBeouf in.
Imperial, force your boyfriend Ares to put these movies on for you. Stop letting him control and dictate what you watch in that house.
There you go.
And stop playing Destiny 2. That game's old.
I'll be RB.
All right, and also if you haven't checked out Imperial Goddess, it's Imperial_Goddess over on Twitch. She plays a lot of games on there. She laughs at her own jokes. She's been playing Assassin's Creed 2, I believe, or Brotherhood, whatever number that is. And then she's also been playing Destiny 2 a lot. If I haven't said that, Destiny 2. She's playing the Disney's basically what is that Dream Play, whatever. It's basically like Animal Farm for Disney. And
it's Animal Crossing, but with Disney characters.
Yeah.
I actually got it on sale. It was like $20, so I picked it up.
Yeah, it's
not bad.
Donald Duck's great in that. So
Scrooge is pretty great, and Ratatouille.
Well, I haven't. She hasn't streamed that much, so I didn't get to see that part of the game. So thank you for spoilers, Zach.
Well, we should probably wrap this up so Zach can get to the stream he actually wants to be a part of.
Oh, all right. All right, so go check out Skip and Tosh over at Twitch right now. Not
yet. He hasn't sent the link yet. I think he doesn't start until like 11 o'clock Central, which I think is 9
3
o'clock.
minutes. Wait.
It's
No,
10
that's an
o'clock.
hour. That's an hour and 3 minutes from now.
Yeah, an hour. So I think it'll be an hour before a stream
Good
starts.
Lord, man, that's your time zone. Why am I telling you this?
Wait, so he's not doing it at 11 o'clock at night anymore?
Usually it's not until 11. I could be wrong. Hang on.
It's only 9:58 where you are.
Yeah, Vinkman, it's only 10 o'clock.
I'm still on daylight savings time. I don't.
I'm an hour. Not only am I 30, almost 30 years older than Zach, and almost 25 years older than you, I'm an hour older just by virtue of where I am.
How nice of you to make yourself feel younger by saying you're only 30 years older than Zach.
Yeah, no, it won't be until 11 o'clock, so I'll have about an hour.
Yes, Zach. When are you going to InfoWars? You're talking about
What
how you
the? No, I don't know what. Let me tell you what. I got on Twitter today. I was actually good. I didn't get on until lunchtime. But I go onto Twitter, and what do I see? But Kanye West making a fool of himself on InfoWars. I was like, holy cow, what on earth happened?
Now I understand why he got with Kim, because Kim only dates fools. Look at she dated after him.
Kim is the smart one, and she was the smart one in the relationship, it turns out. Who knew? I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Yes. All right, I'll leave you with this one thought. Elon Musk debuted. He's doing automated semi trucks driving on the road.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yes. So we're getting close to Blade Runner. Almost.
Well, if they
I don't
make
like
it, if they break a traffic law in San Francisco, the robot cops can shoot them.
Oh no, they said they wanted to use explosives and not guns. They want to load them with explosives. That's gonna work great. One step closer to RoboCop or Logan, because they had self-driving trucks in Logan. So,
hey, Death of Wolverine. I'm good with it. Let's go. No more
Super
action.
Mario, Super Mario Brothers, another Chris Pratt film that I will watch and enjoy.
All right, good night, kids. So see you tomorrow.
Yeah, get us out of here before I start talking to him. Just